Hi everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's always a pleasure to be back with you guys again. Today's video is part of the spiritual teaching classes, and what I'm going to speak to you guys about today is about a subject that it is very important for all of you to know about. Those of you that obviously are on your spiritual path, and part of learning, part of developing your spirituality is learning, believe it or not, how to differentiate between an earthbound spirit and a dark entity. There is a difference and there are similarities between these spirits. Some of these spirits can create disturbances in the home, and it's mainly because they want to call your attention. When a person passes away in a violent nature, per se, that it was not of natural causes, these souls sometimes have a difficulty crossing over, and that is why it is so important, the prayers, especially the 9 days of prayer that are offered to these spirits. Down the line I will be giving you more information in regards to the 9 days of prayer that are highly recommended for a soul that has just passed, and the whole process that we Hispanics do when a family member passes away. So I will not go into that now, but it is very important for these souls to receive prayers. I mentioned that in other videos, that the prayers and the masses are very important for these souls to help them elevate. A soul goes through a stage of confusion at the time of death. It happens with natural causes, but is more intensified when a person dies of a violent death. It's sort of a shock, a spiritual shock, that the person does not realize that they are dead, and they can go through this stage for some time. It can be very difficult for the soul, creates a lot of suffering, causes a lot of suffering for the soul, because they will try to communicate with those they left behind, their family members. When they feel ignored, because this is what they feel, because they are trying to get the attention of their family members. They think they're alive, and they feel that they are being ignored. So in the home where they used to live, what will happen is they will start knocking down things and slamming doors and things like that. So it's very important to be able to tell the difference between an earthbound soul and a dark spirit. I'm going to go into that in a little bit. Spirit, most likely, while the person is sleeping, they will try and speak to you. They will touch you. You will feel them touch you. If it's a loved one, you will feel them touch you. You will feel sort of a cold breeze around you, and you might even get goosebumps, but it's not a feeling of fear. They will not inspire fear in you. You will sense them, you will hear them. If you're spiritually sensitive, you will feel the presence of the spirit, and sometimes you might even hear them or smell their perfume and know that they are there. That is why it's very important to help these spirits cross over. And sometimes when you're a medium, you may attract these earthbound spirits. I tend to attract a lot of these spirits. A lot of them come to me seeking help, because they know I can see them, they know I can feel them. Sometimes a family member, if they become too attached to you, it can create some discomfort. It can create depression, because you will pick up on their feelings, because this is something that a soul retains after they have crossed over. And it's up to us to let them know that they no longer belong to the physical world, that they have crossed over, and that it's okay for them to go to the light. And by crossing over to the light, they are able to help us more and guide us more and even protect us. So this is something that you can just speak to them. This is not something that you do in prayer. You just speak to them. And this I'm teaching you, because as you develop spiritually, you will encounter earthbound spirits. Mind you, there are some violent earthbound spirits. Those that when they were in the physical world, there were people of violence, aggressive. As I have mentioned in other videos, these spirits also linger around because they refuse to go into the light. They enjoy the life of alcohol, of drugs, of killing, and of violence that they lived while here on earth. And sometimes they may attach themselves to us to indulge in those habits that they had while they were alive. So that is why it's so important in this teaching that I teach you guys how to recognize these entities. They all make you feel a different way. They all bring with them different sensations. The dark entities, these dark spirits that linger around in bars, in corners, because there are some that linger in corners. That is why sometimes in certain corners you hear of so much violence, so much killings going on. And it is because someone that lived that violent life was murdered there, and they still linger there, and they start pulling in people into that life of violence, and they inspire or drive other people to kill as they used to. They possess these other people that are already in this life of violence, and they push them, inspiring these negative thoughts in their mind, inspiring in them anger and making them angry. What will one of these dark entities feel like? What will the energy feel like when you encounter one of these lower level spirits that are in the dark? Because these spirits refuse the light, and these are some of the spirits that a lot of people use for black magic and to do all sorts of harm. The energy that these spirits bring or that awaken within us are anger, depression, thoughts of suicide. When they are near us, they inspire a lot of negative thoughts. They're just upset all the time, and their thoughts will be negative. Their emotions will be negative. Their expression, the words that come out of their mouth will be very negative words. And this happens when one of those dark souls attach themselves to a person. And like I said, you can feel the difference. Let's say you enter into a place and one of these dark souls are there. You will immediately feel it. You as a medium will feel that there's something there that just doesn't feel right. The energy doesn't feel right, and you will feel the anger. But as you develop spiritually, you will learn how to recognize, wow, there's so much anger in this place, there's so much sadness. You will learn how to detach your own emotions from these emotions. And this is one of the things that I'm going to be teaching you guys, how to learn how to detach yourself and recognize that those emotions that you are feeling in that place that you have entered are not yours. They belong to whatever spirit that is there. And the reason why I'm teaching this is because this is something that you need to learn, that you must learn. Because some of them, those dark souls, can try and trick us. But the energy is very palpable, it's very easy to sense. So what can you do when you encounter an earthbound spirit? Let's say not a spirit that has passed away because of violence, an earthbound spirit that is lost, that has lost their way, and the souls of young children that have passed away in violent ways. These are spirits that also remain lost in the earth plane. What do you do as a medium? What I do is, because these spirits are very, very persistent. They startle you sometimes. So they will not stop. They will continue around you. If you have seen the movie Ghosts, it is very similar to that. They can be very persistent until you acknowledge them. They will not stop. They will follow you around everywhere until you say, okay, what is it that you want? And this is what you're supposed to do. When you encounter an earthbound spirit, let's say a young child that is lost in the physical world, and they need to be guided to the light, which I have done with several spirits. What you do is step back a little bit. Do not scare me, because you might get startled. You no longer belong to this physical plane. You must go to the light. And some of them, you will feel their fear, you will feel their emotions, their sadness, whatever they're going through. And like I said, if you're clairvoyant, like I am, they will connect with you in such a way that you will see everything that happened to them when they passed. They will give you a glimpse of how they passed away. If it was in a violent way, they will show you, because this is what the spirits have shown me. So what you do is you talk to them, because once you speak to them, especially if it's a spirit that's creating noise in your home and things like that, you speak to them and you tell them, no, I will not allow this behavior in my home. If you need help, I can help you, but I will not allow this behavior. And if they continue to misbehave, you tell them to go. Because what's going to happen is they're going to come back. That spirit is going to come back, because you're the only one that can help them. So they're going to come back, but this time they're going to be more calm. When they speak to you, you're going to sense that humbleness. And you will tell them, you no longer belong to this earth. You have crossed over. You must go to the light. And immediately, as you explain to the spirit about the light that's awaiting for them, a light will open up. Like I said, if you're clairvoyant, you will be able to see this light. Sometimes there are family members, loved ones waiting for them there. And what you will do is you will tell that spirit, I am going to say the Lord's Prayer with you. Repeat it with me. And you do not have to do this verbally, because in the spirit world they communicate mentally. So if you do this mentally, the spirit will also hear you. You can also speak to them mentally and do the Lord's Prayer mentally and guide the spirit to the light. Just say, I am going to repeat the Lord's Prayer as you walk to the light. The spirit will walk into the light. You'll feel the same peace the spirit is feeling. It's also good to explain to them that they're not trapped in the physical world, that in the spiritual world where they belong now, they can control everything with their thoughts. That just by thinking, I'm outside that door, they are. Just by calling in the light with their thought, they are at the light. And they will always be loved ones. They are waiting for them. So this is a very simple way to help a spirit cross over. I am telling you to teach you the difference between an earthbound spirit that is not of a violent nature. Now, I do not advise any of you to go around or to go to haunted places trying to get rid of ghosts, trying to get rid of these earthbound spirits that are trapped. This can be extremely dangerous to a novice, to someone that has no experience whatsoever, and to someone that does not know the prayers necessary to get rid of these dark spirits. So the only reason that I'm letting you know this is so you can learn, but not for you to practice it. You guys know I am very, very careful with the information that I provide for you, because I'm not going to put you in harm's way. This video is part of your spiritual teaching. This is something that's very important that you needed to learn. The next video that I'm going to upload is in regards to the Boveda. I already did a video about that. I taught you guys how to set up a Boveda or an altar. So I am not going to elaborate so much on it, because I'm going to either place a link, or at the end of the video I am going to leave a link to that video of the Boveda. The next video that I will be uploading is in regards to that, for those that do not have any knowledge in regards how to set up an altar or over that. This is not something fancy, something very simple, and this is for beginners, so you can start. And then I will also place a link to the prayers and the books that you guys need to buy to start your prayers. And then we're going to go into the spiritual baths, and so you can go preparing yourself spiritually, preparing your spiritual and physical body to connect with your guides. I hope you have enjoyed this video. This is part of your spiritual teaching, and if you have, as I always say, do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Share with all your friends so they can develop themselves spiritually, so they can find their truth and live their truth. God bless you, and love and light to you all.